Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, bro.
uh, sir, Mahesh
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you wait for 1 minute?
Yeah, it's okay.
Faculty are joining. Yes, sir.
It's okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, I thought you were speaking something.
Mahesh sir, shall we start? Shall we start?
Yes, we can start.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I welcome all the faculties and students of St. Mary's Engineering College, KL University, Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology, and Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology, and other colleges, and from students from other colleges. Thank you for being here. We hope you all will have a great session and a great learning. Let me give a brief introduction of Brainovision. Brainovision Solutions India Private Limited has started in 2016. We are into EduTech. Till date, we have conducted hundreds of technical workshops, hackathons, and technical internships. So now, without any delay, we will start the session. I invite Mahesh sir to go ahead with the session.
Uh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, one and all. Good morning, faculty, respected sirs and madams, and all the every students like who has joined the session. Good morning, warm welcome for you, everyone. I hope I'm audible for everyone, right? I'm audible for everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Even like you hope you people are even able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen, everyone?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
It's okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So let's start the session. Before we're gonna start the session, I just want to give brief introduction over here. Right. So we are going to deal with Python workshop. So what is Python? If you learn Python, what are the benefits? What are the jobs are there? So what is the benefit of learning and what is the benefit of going with this workshop? Let's have a glance. Right. So coming to the first point, here let us consider. And my name is Mahesh. I'm from Brain Ocean Solutions India Private Limited. Right. So coming to the topic. So before we're gonna start, so let's have a small introduction about the Python. So the Python has been introduced in the year 1991, right? So it was introduced by Rosum, right? Coming to the next point, Python is a programming language It is useful for the small projects to a big projects. From even in a small project, a small capstone project to a large, big projects. In all the projects, we can use a Python, right? So Python is being used by many giant companies like Google, Yahoo, YouTube, and so on. Many MNC companies and giant companies are using Python. And second thing, coming to the thing, not only companies, even the Linux systems. The Linux systems are being built by the Python language itself. Right? Not only the OS, the games, apps, or web applications, the data science applications, whatever you consider, maximum fields the Python has been right now. Right now, the Python is being moving into the all the fields. Right. So here are the few example where the top companies are using the Python language, right? So coming to the next thing over here, so if we learn a Python, let us consider Python is a good. So if you learn Python, what would be the average salary? What is the median salary? What would be the maximum salary? Right. So these are what the things when we go with the minimum salary. It is 43K dollars. Right. So the median is 77K dollars. So when you go with the maximum, it is 103K dollars. Right. So in this way, the salary would be range for the Python. The people who learn the Python, they are into n number of fields. Right. So what are the fields? We'll look into that. Right. So this is the thing, this is the basic salary, like basic salary, median salary, and average salary. If you learn a Python, it is not going into ring. So what would be happen? We can implement Python in any field. So let's see what are the fields out there in the Python also. All right. So why Python? Because why Python is dynamic, object oriented, modular, active, used for scrapping and used for the machine learning as well as the AI. Right? Python is used for all these fields, right? So why? Because Python has a large number of frameworks. Python is having a large number of frameworks. Using the frameworks, we will be able to build applications, right? So coming to the next point, have to become a Python developer. So what jobs are there? So in which field can the Python can be implemented? So if you look over here, Python can be implemented in the robotics, machine learning, like machine learning, data science, AI, right? So developing a desktop applications, developing a mobile applications, right? Developing an IoT applications, the cloud applications, and so on. In n number of fields, Python can be used. Python is not only for the people for the CSE or IT. Python can be used in n number of fields. So what are the fields is? We can use it in the automation, I mean the robots. So the people who are going for the EC, like IoT. In the IoT also nowadays they are using a programming language, Python, right? So Python is used for the developing of a desktop applications, data science, machine learning, AI, right? So mobile applications and desktop applications and standalone applications. Right. So coming to the next topic. So look over here. How to become a Python. Like as already discussed in the previous slide. So I said we can write a system scripting, web development, software development. So when it comes to system development, system scripting, an application which is used for developing it, which is used in the system. For that we go it as a system scripting. When it comes to the web development, Python is used in the web development. For that we do have different modules. So we can use a static website as well as a dynamic website. So coming to the software development, yeah, sorry, right. So let's come back over here, right? So how to become Python developer we are looking. So in this we have considered the three categories. So what are the three categories? As we have considered the three categories as system scripting, web development, and software development. Right. So system developments we have done. So when you go with a web development, a static website and a dynamic website can be done using the Python. Right. So coming to the software development, how the Python is being used in the software development. So it is used for the businesses, institutes, companies, and so on. right? So in the institutes and companies, how it can be used. So what would be happen is this Python can be used for the this Python can be used for the machine learning. It can be used for the machine learning. Audible, like are you people able to see my screen, everyone? Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's okay, thank you. All right, so coming to the software development, what would be happen is using the Python, we would be building an machine learning application or else AI application. What is the AI application? Is simple, like whether the business can be done or not done, predicting the future of the business, predicting the future of a business, like how the Python, using the Python, what we are going to do, whether that business, what was the business in 2006, so in 2020 how the business would be there, so what are the required changes, whether the business could be run or not run, or else, so predicting something. So for the prediction and for applying the machine learning and detecting the objects, like what we can say is detecting the objects, detecting the handwritten languages. Like if you're written using your hand, let us consider you have written a small thing on your paper using your handwriting, so that can also be computerized. So capture a picture of that particular thing, use the machine learning and apply the required modules on that. So what would be happen then, the thing which you have written over there, that would be converted into a digital document, right? So not only this, using in many other applications, machine learning is being used, right? Machine learning, AI and deep learning are being used. So in order to go with the machine learning, AI and deep learning, we require the Python, right? So in this way, this Python would be helpful for the software development, right? So for the machine learning, for the data science, as well as for the AI, this Python would be used. So now let's look into the thing. So where the Python can be run, Python can be run on the different platforms, not only Windows or so on. Python can be run in a different platforms like Linux, Mac, Windows, and any other distros. Right. So coming to the next thing, Python is a simple language. It is a simple language. It is not hard to code. It is a simple and simple to code. Compared to the Java and other programming languages, Python is very easy. Right. So how it is easy, we'll see that also. Right, Python allows the developers to write a program in a fewer lines. So compared to the Java or C or other programming languages, if you want to write a hello world program, for the example, let us consider we are having a hello world program. So in the Java, it takes around 10 lines. So in C, around 15 lines, let us consider. But coming to the Python, it is in a single line we are going to write. Right. So in this way, if you're considering large codes also, the n number of lines can be reduced in the Python. If you are writing 100 lines of code in the Java, we can reduce it to 20, 30 lines in Python. In this way, Python is being helpful in the programming. So that is the reason Python is being trendy in the market. Right. So Python is an interpreter based. It is not a compiler based. Python is an interpreter based. So now let's look that also. Right. So coming to the next benefit over here, Python is a popularity and high. Like if you learn Python, what would be happen? You'd be getting a high salary. You'd be getting a high salary because there are n number of jobs in Python. There are n number of jobs in Python, and the people who know Python are less. Right. So coming to the thing, Python is used in the data science, AI, ML. Python is used in the scripting, automation. Python is used in the big data. Right. Python even supports the testing. Coming to the next topic, Python can be used in computer graphics, web development, right? So next one, Python is simple and easy to learn. So now let's go with the program. So now what we are doing, this is what about the basic introduction about the Python. So now what we are going to do is how to download the Python, from where to download the Python, how to install it, how to set up it, and how to write a first program. Let's see, right? So basically, in order to download the Python, there is a URL. Right? There is an official website of a Python, that is www.python.org. From this particular URL, we would be able to download the Python. After downloading the Python, we need to install. How to install that? Let's look. Right. So this is for the Windows. For the people who are going with the Mac, there is no need to install the Python in the Mac OS. Defaultly, when the OS has been installed, Python would be installed itself. So not only for the Mac OS and the people who are using the Linux OS, also Python would be defaultly installed. No need to install separately. Right. So this is all the thing about your Python have to install it. So now we got a clarity like for the Mac OS and Linux OS, no need to install. So now let's go with the process of installing of Python in the Windows. So let us consider we have downloaded the Python from the internet. As soon as you download the Python from the internet, a setup file would be appeared. It is around 30 MB, 27 MB to 30 MB. It would be there, right? So click on the setup file. As soon as you click on the setup file, this screen would be appeared. Right now let's consider the screen has been appeared. So now what we're gonna do is we need to install the Python. So for that, what you're gonna to do is click on install now, add Python 3.7 to the path, select these two options, then click on install now. So what would be happen? Python would be installed in the default directory. Python would be installed in the default directory. So click on next, automatically the Python would be installed. So this is what about your regular installation. If you want to go with a custom installation, so then in that case, what you're going to do, click on the custom installation. So as soon as you click on the custom installation, what would be happen? We can modify the settings. So what are the settings is, let's click the custom installation. So coming to the custom installation, what we are going to do here is, here I have considered, so whether you want a documentation, whether you want a pip module or not, right? So whether you want TK module and IDLE, or whether you want the Python test suite, whether you want Python launcher, whether Python should be installed for all the users or not. So here are the n number of options. If you require or if you don't require, deselect that option based upon your requirement, deselect the option and click next. So in that way, we'd be able to go with the custom installation. So coming to the next topic, as soon as you click on the next, this screen would be appeared. So when you're going with the screen, what would be happen? You're having here a list of options, like whether the Python should be installed for the multiple users or not, or else you want all the Python files to be associated with the Python PyLauncher or not, whether you want to create a desktop icon on the whether you want to create a Python desktop icon or not. So coming to the next one, what are you going to do, whether you want to add Python to the environment variable or not, right? Whether you want to predefine compile libraries, whether you want to download the debugging module, right? So whether you want debugged binaries. So in this way, you'll be selecting the options, right? So whatever based upon your requirement, you'll select the options and click on install, right? So before clicking on install, please do look over here. Here you do have a red color box. So what is this red color box? Here, when you click on the browse, a directory would be open. A directory would be open. So select your default directory where your Python should be installed. Whether you want to install in C drive or F drive or D drive or some other drive based upon your system storage. Right now I've considered in the C drive some XYZ folder. In that my Python would be installed. Right. So let us consider install now. So Python would be installed. Right. So this is when you go with your custom installation. So this is what about regular installation and custom installation. So let's come back over here again. So here what would be happen if you have forgotten this option? What is that? Add Python 3.7 to the path. In case if you have forgotten this particular thing, right? So we do have a manual process to add Python to the environment variable. So this is when you go with the regular installation. So coming to the custom installation, if you have forgotten this option here, if you forgot this option like add Python to the environment variables, right? So we do have a manual process, right? Either in the regular or in the custom installation. If you have forgotten this particular format, then in that case, so what we are going to do, we are going to put the Python environment variable manually. How it is that? Let's look. So what we're going to do is on the desktop, we will be able to find an icon called as this PC, right? Or else my computer. Based upon the OS version, whether Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10, you'll be finding an option called as this PC or else my computer, right? So right click on that particular thing, click on the properties. As soon as you click on the properties, a pop-up box will be appeared. In the pop-up box, towards the left side of the screen, you'll be able to find this option. You'll be able to find this option called as advanced system settings. The last fourth option would be there, right? So click on advanced system settings. So what would be happen, then this box would like a box would be appeared. So in the below right side corner, you would be having an option called as environment variables. So click on the environment variables, this pop-up would be appeared. So in this pop-up, what we are going to do is find a thing called as path. If you are having a path, so click on edit. Click on edit. So you'd be able to add a new path, right? So if you don't find this particular path, so then click on new. So when you click on new, a box will be appeared. So write the variable name as path. So in the second location, give your Python path where your Python has been installed. Where the Python has been installed. Right. So coming to the next topic, what we're going to do is we need to check where the Python has been installed. Where the Python has been installed. So as I've already said you, where the Python would be installed. So like let's see where the Python would be installed. So I'll show you the documentary over here. For this case, so defaultly Python would be installed in the app data folder. So how to access? So the people who have gone with the regular installation, they don't know where the Python has been installed. But the people who have gone with the custom installation, they have selected their own path to where the Python has been installed. So go to that location, right? So now what we are going to do for the people who have installed in the regular installation, right? So coming to the next topic, how to find uh, where your Python has been installed defaultly. So then in that case, type like not type, press Windows plus R. Plus Windows R, run box would be open. Run box would be open. In the run box, what will you do is type this command called as ampersandile app data ampersandile. What would be happen? Your app data folder would be appeared. So from the app data folder, you'd be able to find three folders. You'd be able to find three folders called as local, local roaming, and roaming. So now what you need to do is you need to navigate your folder called as local, right? When you go to the folder called as local, you'd be able to find n number of folders. In that local folder, you'd be able to find a folder called as program. Program, right? So in that folder, you'd be able to find a folder called as Python, right? So Python, thereafter, what is the version which you have installed? The current version is 3.8.5. Right now 3.8.5, right? So like based upon the version, your version name would be displayed over here. So in this particular location, your Python would be there. So in the app data, in the app data folder called as local, in that you would be having a folder called as programs. In that a folder called as Python. There you would be able to find your Python version. So this is your Python install location. So after doing this, what you people need to do is, so let us consider this is what my directory for the example. So copy this address. Let us consider my Python has been installed over here. Copy this address. After copying this address, what you're going to do is come back to a previous slide. So in this slide, as I already said you, to click on path. In the path, I've said you to go with first box, you'll be clicking on path. So in the second box, paste the thing as which you have copied where your Python has been installed. Copy that location and paste it here. So what would be happen? So like let us consider in C drive, in this folder my Python has been installed. So I have paste this. So I'll click on OK. So in this way, I'd be able to add my path. I'd be able to add my Python environment variable to my path, right? So this is the same for the Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. Same process would be there, right? So you need to click on path, edit. So add this particular thing. Copy the Python install location and paste it. So click on OK. So as soon as you click on OK, the Python environment variable would be added. So this is how we add your Python environment variable. So coming to the next topic, we are going to deal with IDLE. So right now we have successfully installed Python. After installing successfully Python, we are going to deal with IDLE. As soon as you install the Python, you'd be able to get the IDLE. In the IDLE, you can write the programs, right? So this is how the IDLE would be there. So in this, we'd be start writing our code and press enter. The program would be executed there itself, right? So this is for the Windows people. For the Linux and Mac OS people, the IDLE would be in this particular format, right? So write your code and press enter. The code will be executed there itself, right? So this is when you go with your IDLE. So right now we are not using any IDLE or else any IDE, any integrated development environment we are not going to use. So as we are in a basic learning stage, so we don't require any help of them, right? If you're taking help of any IDLE, IDE, so what would be happen? IDE would be giving you the suggestions. So let us consider you are writing a print. So if you're writing a print, so what all the other things are there with a P? So what are the other things are there with H? All the what do you say, suggestions? Suggestions would be given by the IDE itself. So when we are using the IDE, we'd be not able to remember the complete code. So that is the reason I don't suggest to use the IDE when we are in the basics. So then how to write without the IDE? How to write a program? Yes, we can write a program without the IDE also. So what we are going to do here is simply consider a notepad. In the notepad, we'd be writing our program, right? So we'd be saving it. After that, we'd be executing in the terminal. How to write the first program? Let's look over here, right? So for every programming language, the basic program is hello world. So let's see how to write the hello world program. I consider this program as hello world. So this is what my hello world program. So simple, a single line of code. Print hello world. Hello world would be printed. Right. So let's write the program and check it. So right now, what am I doing on the desktop? I'm creating a folder. Like what are the folder you want, you can create. So right now I have a folder called as Python examples. So I'm going over here. So whatever you feel, what are the location, C drive or E drive or F drive, go with your location. Right. So go to that particular folder. Click on new, right click on new, click on the text document. As soon as you click on the text document, the text document would be open. So this is how your text document would be appeared. Now what you're going to do over here is consider this thing. So here start writing a program. Right now I'm writing the program. Print hello world. Simply like write print. So when you write a print statement, what would be happen? It would be able to print the line which you have considered. So now I'm going with print hello world. So write print, open the brackets, give the quotations, close the brackets. So in between this, whatever the statement you want to consider, write the statement. Right now I've considered as a hello world. So write hello world would be printed. Right. So coming to the first thing now, what I'm going to do is I want to save this document. So how should I save this document? So here you'd be having an option called file. When you click on file, the fourth option would be as save as. So right now click on file, save as. Right. So according to Windows, I'm saying, so like here you'd be having a two boxes according to the Windows. So in the first box, type your file name. Let us put it as some hello. So what are the file name you want to put? Consider your file name. Right. So right now I'm putting it as HELLO. Hello. Hello is my file name. So what is the extension I'm going to save? The extension for the Python is .py. So your Python would be saved. So hello is your file name, .py is your extension. So select that. So click on save. So you'd be able to save that particular file. Right. So right now I have saved this. So when I come back to my folder, you can look over here. Right now my file has been created. It is in the Python icon. Right. So how do you execute it? So if you click double click, you can't execute. So a splash screen would be appeared and it would be displayed. What do I say? It would be displayed and it will collapse again. So in that way, you're not going to execute your Python. So then how to execute it? So in that case, what you're going to do is, right now I'm closing this program. In the address bar, itself, deselect all these things, make it empty, and type cmd and press enter. So what would be happen if you type cmd and press enter? Your command prompt would be open from this particular directory. So you can see here right now desktop, in that I'm having a folder called as Python. So it has been opened in this specific directory. So in the same way, what would be happen? What are your directories? A D drive or C drive? So automatically your command prompt would be open from that particular directory. So right now I have opened my command prompt from this directory. So right, what I'm going to do is, in order to execute my program, first of all, what I need to write is Python. I'm saying like I'm executing a Python program. I'm saying to the command prompt. So that is the reason Python space. So in the Python, what you're going to execute? So right now my file name is hello. So hello dot py. So as soon as I click hello.py, what would be happen? My statement has been printed. It says hello world.py. Sorry, I have said like hello world.py. So hello world is being executed. Right. So this is how you execute your programs. So this is how you execute your program. Right now I've considered Python space your file name .py. So what are the statement is it that has been executed over here? So now let's do the modification. So what I want to do here is I'll open the program. So instead of hello world, I'll write it as Braino Vision. Save this. I'll come back to my terminal. Python space my file name hello.py. So automatically the program would be executed. Right. So is it clear for everyone right now? I hope I'm clear with for everyone till here. So this is how we execute your first program. Am I clear till here, everyone? Yeah, it's okay. I'm clear. So now coming to the topic over here, what I do is let's go with the other programs. So as soon as we have done with the Hello World program, we do have the other programs. So what is the Hello World program? Let's look over here. So this is a documentary like how you're going to save your file. So this I have already showed you right now. So in the first, like, open your text document, save it, how to save your text document, how to execute it. Here I have considered that. Right. So now going to the next topic, what I'm doing here is I considered the other program called as variables. So what are the variables? Simply in a simple line, variables are the containers. Variables are the containers which store the data. Right. So variables are the containers which store the data. Right. So look over here. Simply let's consider this as a variable. So now for the, let us consider this as a variable over here. So now what I'm doing, I need to name this variable. So I'm naming it as some right now this variable name is, let us consider as a. So this container name is called as a. So now in this container, what is the data I'm storing? So I'd be storing any kind of data. So let us consider if I want to store 5, I can store 5. If I don't want to store 5, if I want to write the Mahesh, so I'll be storing it as Mahesh. Or else if I want to store any floor, any value like float, so simply I'll go with 5.6. So in this way, it is a container which stores a different kind of data, right? So this is called as a variable. So what is a variable and how to declare a variable, how to store the values in a variable? Let's see according to our programming. So right now I'm going back to hello.py. So I erase this program. So right now my variable name is a. So simply you need to declare your variable name. So according to other programming languages, what we used to consider is, first of all, we need to declare the data type. So like C or Java, int a. So my data type is int, my variable name is a. So if I want to assign a value, I'll be considering a is equal to 5. So thereafter semicolon. This was for the other programming languages. But coming to the Python, the code has been reduced. So no need to write the int over here. Simply declare a variable. Declare a variable, give the equal to, assign your value. Whatever the value you want, assign your value. Right now I've assigned as 1, 2, 3. Right? No need to declare the semicolon also. Right? No need to declare the semicolon also. So sir, why you said like not to put the int over there? Basically what would happen if you declare a variable, so it will consider the variable, Python will consider it as a variable. So thereafter, based upon the value which you have given, so it automatically converts this variable to, okay, this value is integer, so I need to assign an int over here. So if you're giving a float, it will assign a float, automatically it will convert that variable into so and so data type. So what it has been considered, how it has been considered, let's look. Right now I have created a variable over here. In this I'm storing an integer, right? So I save this program. So in order to print this variable, so what I need to do, I need to write print a. I simply consider print a. So I save this document. I save this document, right? So come back to my terminal, Python space your file name. Right now hello.py. So the statement, like what are the values there? So 123 is there, 123 has been printed, right? So 123 has been printed over here. So like you can see the output, it is 123. So this is how you declare the integer. So coming to the next point, here I want to declare the other value. Right now let us consider a variable called as x. X is equal to, in the variable x, I am storing a value. The value is float value. So I want to store it as 5.4. So 5.4 is a float value. In the variable x, I'm storing a float value. So print. So thereafter the next line, print x. So 5.4 would be printed. 5.4 would be printed, right? So coming to the next topic, I consider the other variable. So the variable name is, uh, let us put it as what I do. Let me consider the variable as y. Y is equal to, I consider a string right now. I want to store a string. So right now I declare it as a brain over vision. So this is what the variable. I close it. So in the variable y, I'm storing a string. So in order to declare a string, you need to present it in the quotations, right? So whatever you're giving the quotations, that will be considered as a string. So I save this program. So in order to declare this integer, no need to declare the quotations or no semicolon. Same for the float. No quotations or else no semicolon. So this is for the float value. So when you go with the string, so given the quotations in the double quotations, or else, like let us consider z. Z is also my different variable. Z is equal to, even in the single quotations, I can declare. So I declare a name over here, like string over here, right? So close it. So this is what one string, and this is also another string. So string can be declared in the double quotations or else in a single quotations. Uh, in the single quotations, we can declare a string. So save this program. If I want to print all these variables, so simply I'd be writing print y. So print z. So what would be happen? This particular variables would be printed. So let's come back to our terminal and re-execute the program. So you can see here 1, 2, 3 has been printed, 5.4, Brain Ocean, and Bala Maheshwar. In this way, this has been printed. So this is how you consider variables. So this is how you add the different values over here, right? So coming to the next topic, what I want to declare here is, sir, why you have considered A, B, C, D? Can't you consider any variables? Like can't you consider any other name? So what are the rules? What are the set of protocols to be followed for creating a variables? Let's look into that, right? So let's come back to the PPT over here, right? So this is what about the variables, right? So look over here. So what we are going to do is we are going to consider the variables. How to declare your variables are, so first one, a variable name must start with a letter or an underscore. It should be start with a letter or else an underscore. So coming to the next point, it can't be started with a number. It can't be started with a number. The third point, a variable can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore, but no any other special character. While you are declaring a variable, you need to use alphabets like the alpha and numeric characters or else a special character as underscore. Rather than this, you can't use any other symbol for creating your variable, right? So that is for the third point. So coming to the fourth point, what would be happen? Variables names are case sensitive. So what are case sensitive? If you declare a variable like age, if you're writing completely in the lower case, this is one variable. So if you go with in this particular format, capital A and GE or in the lower case, so then this would be acting as a new variable. These both variables are not same. So when you come to the capital H, A, G, E, everything are in the capital case. So then in that case, what would be happen? This would be also considered as another variable. All these three variables are not same, right? So these three variables, like these three things would be acted as three different variables. So this is how you go with your variable namings. This is how you go with your variable naming. So coming to the next topic over here, so what can be happen? So here are the few examples. few examples of creating the variables, right? So let's look into that through the programming, right? So the last point which I've missed over here is the variable. Let us consider if you want to put two names together. If you want to put two names together as a single variable, then if you're putting it as Bala space Mahesh, then that can't be considered as a variable. It would be giving you an error. So if you want to put two names together as a single variable, so then you need to join its two variables. So how you're going to join is simply put the underscore in between the uh, letters. So let's look over here. So I come back to the program. Let us consider here I am having a variable. So what I want to put, let us consider my variable name is my variable. So this is what my variable name I want to consider. So if I put in this way, I'm assigning a value called as 5. So what will be happen if I run this program? I'll be getting an error because you can't declare in this way. So in order to remove this error, so I need to place an underscore in between them. I'm declaring an underscore. So then this completely would be considered as a single variable, right? So it could be considered a single variable. And now what I'm going to do here is I save the value. So now what I want to do here, the other condition, what we have considered, a variable can be considered with underscore bov. So this is what my variable. So I want to store some value like 7.2. I'm storing 7.2. So even I can consider the other thing what I said you. So if I go with an example called as bov, right? So this would be a new variable. This is another variable. This would be acting as another variable, right? Bov is equal to, I put it to 8.2. So now bov 9.2. So I'll consider bov, I'll put it as ball. So save it. So now what would be happen? These three variables would be acting as three different variables. These three things would be acted as three different variables, right? So these are about the variables. So this is how you declare. But you can't declare a variable name with a starting of 9. So let us consider you are declaring any number over here. 9 equal to, so Mahesh or some other thing. What would be happen if you're declaring in this way? You'd be getting an error. A number can't be declared as a variable, right? So that is what the points, 4 points when you have considered the variables. Right? So this is fine. This is about your creating of your variables. So if you want to print those variables, simply consider a print statement. Print bov. Right? To save this program, I want to print all the variables. Underscore bov. This first variable over here, underscore bov, and bov as a capital bov, and all these things are over here, the capital over here. So now I'll be converting this into the capital bov. I save this program. So this is how I declare my variables. So this is how I declare my variables. I save this, come back to my terminal, I execute back. So all the things will be printed. So this is how you consider. So this is how you consider your variables, and this is how you print them. This is how you print them. So coming to the next topic over here. So in this way you can consider any variable name and you can put. But what are the other rule is the keywords, the reserved keywords can't be used. The reserved keywords can't be used as a variables. So according to any programming languages, keywords would be there. We need to mark up the keywords, right? So what are the keywords? So declaring of variables we have done. So what you have considered is, so I'll show you over here. That's fine. So what would be happen is for any programming languages, keywords would be there. These keywords can be used as a variables. So there are around 30 to 35 keywords based upon the programming language. We need to mug up them. We need to mug up them. But according to Python, no need to mug up. So what we can simply do is just we need to write a 2 lines of code. So if you write the 2 lines of code, the complete keywords which are there in the Python, that would be printed. So let's look over here. Right now I did all this program. So print, sorry, before printing, let's go with import. I need to import a module called as keyword. So thereafter print keyword dot aw list. So I save this program. So what would be happen? Only two lines of code. Import keywords. Now I'm importing a module called as keywords. So I'm saying print keyword dot kw list. So as soon as I execute this program, so what would be happen? The list of keywords which are there in the Python, that would be printed. So see here. So these are all the keywords. Remembering of this all keywords is a little bit hard. Remembering all these keywords is a little bit hard. Why? So the Python people, what they have done, they have introduced a module called as keyboard, not keyword, it's a keyword. So import keyword, so keyword module would be imported. So from that particular module, what am I doing here is I'm just printing the keywords. So in order to print the keywords, I have a predefined method. So that is called as keyword.kw list. Keyword.kw list. So what would be happen? The list of keywords which are there, that would be printed. So here are the list of keywords. This list of keywords can be used as a variable names. We can't use this variables. Sorry, we can't use this as a variable names. So coming to the point over here, false, none, and true. So these three things would be the capital. So if you look over here in the in the false, F would be the capital. So when you go with the none, N would be the capital, right? So coming to the next one, T would be the true, T would be the capital. So in this way, these three things are the capital, and rest all other are the lowercase itself. So this is what about the printing of keywords. No need to remember the complete keywords. Just simply write two lines of code. The list of keywords would be printed, right? So these keywords can be used as a uh, variable names, right? So coming to the point over here, this is what about the keywords. So coming to the next program. So here I have declared the variables, right? So coming to this variables, what I want to do, like we have done with this list of keywords. So now using, let us consider, I'm having three variables called as x, y, and z. For all these variables, I want to assign a single value. I can write in this way: x equal to 5, y equal to 5, and z equal to 5. So what I'm going to do here is I will be considering this program 5, 5, 5. So here three lines are there, right? So three lines are there. In the three lines, if I want to print x, y, z, I will be printing. So that's fine. But I want to reduce the number of lines of code. So all these things are having same values. So then in that case, what would be happen? According to Python, what we can do is if every variable has having the same value, so then in that case, I would be considering x equal to y equal to z equal to 5. A single time I'm declaring for these three variables, I'm declaring a value as 5. So simply what do I do? Print x, print z. What would be happen? This three times. So three times 5 would be printed. So in the x, what is the value z? In the y, what is the value z? In the z, what is the value z? That would be printed. So let's clear the screen for the time being. So I'm executing the program back again. So when I print x, I'm getting 5. So when I'm printing y, I'm getting 5. So when I print the z again, I'm getting the 5 over here, right? So this is what the topic when I'm going with the variables, right? So I hope I'm clear till here, right? So coming to the next topic, what I wanna gonna do here is, so let us consider right now, sir, all the values you have declared statically. So if in case I want to collect the values from the user in, then what should I do, right? So we need to write a long program. In the other program like this is Java and C, we used to use like scanner equal to new scanner dot so on. In this way you'd be writing a lines, right? But according to the Python, no need to write like that. We are having a built-in function is there. If you use the built-in function, what would be happen? We would be able to collect the values from the user end. So right now I don't want to declare the value as 5. I want to collect the value from the user end. So then in that case, what would I do? Simply I load a function called as input of. So what would happen when I use this input function? It would be able to collect the data from the user end. So I save this program, we come back and run it. As soon as I run this program, look over here, Python space your file name.py. It's simply waiting. The cursor is being waiting. So why it is waiting? Because we have used a function called as input. Input is a function used to get the data from the user end. So now as soon as I execute the program, now it is waiting for the value from the user end. So I'll simply type it as hi. So hi would be collected. I would be collected. Right now, I got high. So what is happening? First one, it is being collected. In the second line, the value is being printed again. So here I've considered a variable called as x. X is equal to input. So now in this input, user will pass a data. So now here what is happening? Now here user would be printing the data, like not the user, the program would be printing the data. So this is how you collect the data from the user end, right? So but here again I have a doubt, sir. As soon as I execute the program, the cursor is being blinked. I don't know like whether it is a program has executed or it is waiting for the input. I don't know. So then in that case, what should I do? I should pass a message for the user. So what will I do? Simply I'll be considering a program. So before this print, simply I'll write print enter your name. I consider this particular thing and save it. So as soon as I save it, what would be happen? So look over here. First, this program would be executed and user would be getting an statement. Enter your name. Then user got a clarity. Okay, I need to enter the name. So simply he will enter as Mahesh. So simply Mahesh should be printed. So in this way, we'd be able to prompt. Right. So this is what one process. Or else the other thing what you're gonna do is without writing the print statement, if I want to prompt a message for the user, so then in that case what would I do is I delete this line. So in the input function itself, I pass a statement in the quotations. I'll say please enter your name. So what other thing you want, right? You can consider. I save this program, come back to the terminal and execute it. So as soon as right, what would be happen? It says, okay, I need to collect the value from the user end. So please enter your name. So I print it as hi. Hi would be printed. So this is how you consider the value from the user end. So this is how you collect the value from the user end. So I save this program, like come back to the other program. So what we are going to do here is let's check with the other program. What are you left with? Right, so the user values you have considered. So a equal to input of. So let's see with this type. So what is this type of? Let's look over here. Right, so when I'm going with this type of, so what would be happen? I have already considered the value called as x. So what are the other previous programs here? Let us consider a value called as x. X equal to 5. So y is equal to, let us store some value. Y is equal to I'm going to store it as 7.2. So let us consider I'm storing a variable called as d. So random variables, d is equal to let us put it as a Mahesh. Right, so let us put this other variable called as a. A is equal to, in the quotations I'm putting it as brain vision. Right, so as we know, like 5 is an integer, 7.2 is a float. So D is an string. Again, what do I say? A is a string. I know, but what the program has been understood. So I want to know that. So then in that case, I'm not printing the variables. So I want to check what the Python has been understood, whether it is considered as a string or else an integer or float. I want to check with that. So in order to check with that, what I'm going to do here is I'm using print. So in the print, I'm using a function called as type of, like in the brackets, I'm declaring the variable name. I go with type of x. So I save this program for only this particular variable. I'm checking what is the data type has been assigned. Right. So I save this program and execute back. So Python space your file name.py. It says the class is integer. Right. So for this particular variable, this variable is storing an integer. it is saying in this particular way. So what I want to do in this way, I want to check for all the variables. So I consider this particular thing. So type of y. So for y, what is the data is there? Like what is the class has been there for that particular thing? So for z and for sorry, that is not there. D and for a, I save this. Come back to my terminal. I re-execute the program. Now you can check here. It says first one is an integer, second one is a float, third one is a string, and fourth one is a string. So in this way, we can check what is the data type has been assigned by the Python to that particular variable. So in order to check the variable, so what I say is, in order to check the data type that has been assigned by the Python, then we are using the type function, type of variable name. So what would be happen? So what is the data type has been assigned? That would be printed. So when you go with the type of function. So coming to the next line over here, what I'm going to do here is, so as I've already said you, so what are the things I declare in the quotation that would be considered as a string. So let's do right now. So what I'm doing here, so let us consider a variable called as b. B is equal to, in the quotations, I'm writing it as 5.4. Right, so now 5.4 is integer. We know it is as integer. But what am I doing? I'm placing it in the quotations. So what would be happen? Whether it would be a string or else. Whether it would be a string or an integer. So let's check that. So in order to check with that, print type of B. So save it. So now what is a particular data type has been assigned. So whether it is a string or integer, let's check right now. Alright, so as soon as I execute the program, it says class is string. So why like that? You have declared an integer, but it's saying as a string. Yes. What would be happened is, whenever you're going with a variable, what is the variable? Like take any variable. If that variable is placed in the quotations, then it is to be considered as a string. So whatever the data you're giving the quotations, it would be considered as a string itself, whether you're giving an integer or a float or some value. So whatever it may be, it will considered as a string itself. So I do change the program to 5, not 5. Let us put it as some large number. So this is an integer. I save this, come back to terminal, and I execute it. So now you'll be able to see the class is string. So whatever the data it may be, if you're giving in the quotations, either in the double quotations or single quotations, so what would be happen? It would be considered. It would be considered as a string itself. So this is what the topic when we go with the type of function. So this is how we check what is a variable that has been assigned. Sorry, what the data type has been assigned to the variables. Right. So now coming to the other program. So what we are going to do is, let us consider the program called as typecasting. So what is typecasting? So let's look into the PPT over here. So we have done with these variables. So coming to this particular thing, user values also we have done. So coming to the typecasting. So what is typecasting? So when you go with this typecasting, simply typecasting would be considered as converting of one data type to other data type. Typecasting is nothing but converting one data type to other data type is known as typecasting. Right. So what we can do here is, let's see a program. So here I'm doing the typecasting. So here I've considered a variable called as a. In the a, I'm storing in the integer. So I have considered a variable called as b. In the b, I'm storing 7.2. At the float value, I'm storing in the b. So coming to the c, right now my variable is c. In the c, I'm storing an string. Right. So now what I'm doing here, I've considered two functions. So what are these are also built-in functions. One is float, one is int, and one is str. So what would be happen using these functions? We can go with the typecasting. So what would be happen if you want to convert a required data into float? So go with float. If you want to convert that into an integer, going with an int. So let's look into this program over here. So let us consider right now these variables. So right now, what do you people know? When I'm going with 5, it is printing as an int. When I go with 7.2, it is printing it as an, what do I say? Float. So this is as a string. So what I want to do here, I want to do the typecasting. So what is the typecasting I want to consider? Simply, I would be considering a variable. Right now, let us consider some variable as f over here. F is equal to, what am I doing here is, for this variable, right now this integer is there. I want to convert this integer to a float value. So what do I do? Float of, in the bracket, I'll be declaring the variable name. So what would be happen when I use this function called as float of? So it will convert the data into float. So right now here I've passed a data called as 5. So like the variable called as x. So in the x I'm having an integer. This integer would be converted into a float. Right? So this is what the thing when you go with the typecasting. Converting of integer into a float. So what I want to do, I want to convert this integer to string. Right? So then in that case, what can I do here is, I'd be simply considering it as other variable called as g. G is equal to uh, str of str of I'd be considering str of x. So what would be happen? This integer would be converted into a string, right? So either this format or else. So I'll go with x is equal to, in the quotations I'll declare the file. Now this will be considered as a string. Either I can go in this format or else in this format I'll be going. Right now I'll delete this. So now what I want to do, I want to check. So when I convert this file into float, what is being printed? When I convert this g into like when I convert this phi into an string, what is being printed? Let's look over here right now. So I convert this program. Let's print f. So f would be printed. Print. I declare now. Like don't confuse. I'll be deleting all these programs. So right now I've declared f equal to float of x. This value would be converted into a float. Like this would be converted into string. So print f, print g. So save it. Now what would be happen? Let's re-execute the program. As soon as I re-execute the program, you'll be able to look. So now when I convert the float, when I convert that first integer into float, it is being printed as 5.0. When I convert it into the string, 5 is being simply printed. So I got it out again. If I use the integer again, it is being printed. So when I use the string also, it is being printed as a 5. So now let's check the data type. So in order to check with this data type, what I'm gonna do here is, I'd be simply considering type of, right? Now what I want to do, I know right now this variable is having integer. So I will check with these three variables. So what are these three variables? Right now I'll put it as x, first one integer. So after converting into float, I'm storing into a variable called as f. F is equal to, I'll be considering it is into g. Save it. So now check with the three data types. So when I go to three data types, what would be happen? First one, float has defaultly float has been printed, so string has been printed. So now I'm checking the data type. First one, it is an integer. Defaultly it was integer. So when I convert into float, it is saying it as float. So when I convert into a string, it is saying it as a string. So this is the process how you convert an integer to the uh, float as well as a string. So coming to the next topic, what we are going to do here is the same thing I have considered. So now I'll right now change the value. What I want to do here, let us consider I'm having a float value, right? So I want to convert this float value into an integer. So then in that case, what am I doing here? Instead of float, I is simply writing it as int of x. So what would be happen? Whatever the data is there in the x would be converted to an integer. So it would be converted into a string. I save this program and I re-execute it back. So now what does it says? It simply says, first one, look over here. 5 has been printed. Why the 5 has been printed? Simply 5 has been converted 5 has been converted to an integer. So the rest of all the other values which are there, 5.4, that zero point 0.4 has been removed and the only specific integer value 5 is being printed. Alright, so this is what the topic when you go with the integer. So coming to the next topic, string. So what actually happened over here? Here I've considered x is equal to so on. X is equal to so on. So this 5.4 has been removed. So now 5 is being printed in the F. So when I go with str, automatically this is being converted into a string and the complete string is being printed. So when I check with the data type, it is saying first default it was given to the float. So when you do the typecasting, it has been converted an integer. So thereafter it has been converted to the string. So this is how you go with the typecasting. So this is how you go with the typecasting, right? So coming to the next program over here, what would be happen? I would be considering. I'd be considering the next program. So what the next program is? Input we have done. So after going with this input, what I want to do here simply, if I want to convert the data from the, let us go with the operators right now. So this is what about the typecasting. So after typecasting, we need to go with the user's typecasting. So what are the data is being given from the user end? So right now I delete this all the program. So now what I'm going to do here is, let's check here. Right now I consider the input function. Input of enter name. I close this, I save it. So as soon as I save it, now let's check. I'm not printing a value, I'm just checking the data type. So I re-execute the program right now. So enter A. So right now I enter hi. So it says string. So I'm re-executing the program, enter A. I'm entering it as 56. It says string. So I re-execute the program, now enter as 5.4 string. So what would be happening here? What's actually happening? Whatever the data which are passing from the input function, that will only be considered, that will be considered as a string itself. That would be considered as a string itself, right? So that is the reason if you want to collect only an integer from the user end, so then you need to go with the typecasting for the input function. Then you need to go with the typecasting for the input function. So what is the typecasting is? Let's look over here. So simply what do I do? I'll simply pass it as int of input of. So what would be happen right now? The user can enter only integer, rather than if any other integer, if he's entering any number, he'll be getting an error. So enter A. So if I enter high, it says, it gives me an error, invalid literal past. Right? So this is what the error. So in this way, I can't get the string right now. Right? So when I use the input function, I'm getting any kind of data. When I do the typecasting, int of input of, now I would be able to collect only an integers. So if I go with something like, now I'll enter 45, it will accept. So it says the class is an integer. So first thing already you people know. So when you want to collect the float value, float of input of, save this particular function, come back and execute it. So when you execute, what would be happen? Then you would be able to give the float value. So what is the float value? I execute the program. So it's asking to enter the value. If I enter high or some other thing, it gives invalid literal past, because this string can't be converted into a float. Right? So coming to the next topic, what I want to do here, let me consider it as a 5. So it will accept, because 5 can be converted into 5.0. Right? So when I give 4.5, it will accept. Right? So it says it is a float. Right? So this is how you go with the typecasting. So what the thing you need to remember is, sorry, what do I say? This string can't be converted to an integer. The string can't be converted into a float. So when that, what is the thing is, when you go with the typecasting, string can't be converted. I mean, when you're passing a characters like A, B, C, D, that can be converted to an integer as well as a float. So this is the topic when you deal with the typecasting. Right. So this is, I think I'm clear till here, everyone. Right. So coming to the next topic, I clear the screen. So now let's go with a program called as operators. So let's go with the operators over here. Clear the screen with the operators. Yeah. So this is what about the typecasting. So two types we have done, using the variables, using the input functions. We have done with the typecasting. So coming to the next topic, the comments. So how to place the comments? Let us consider I want to place this code in the comments. Simply I'll put it as a hash. So if I put a hash, that code will be considered into the comment. That line will be considered into the comment. So this is how you place the single line comments. So if you want to place a multiple lines, so simply put multiple times hash. So all this will be considered as a comments. So this is what one thing. So coming to the next topic, what actually I was doing over here is, I am considering I want to put the multi-line comments. So either in this format I can do, or else open the quotations for the 3 times. Right? So wherever you want. Let us consider you have written the print statement for the n times, not only print statement, what are the code you consider, n number of times are there. So all this should be placed in the comments. So simply open the quotations over here at the last where you want to close the comments. So there declare the triple quotations again. So then all these things will be considered as a comments. So if I want to print this line, I put over here. Right now put it to instead of this one I'll put it as high, like don't mind. So because that I've put that in the comments. So simply print hi. Right? So now hi would be printed. All these things would be considered into the comments. So let's execute and check. When I execute the program, hi is being printed. So the rest all of the program is being not printed. So this is how you place the multiple line comments and single line comments. So even I don't want this to be executed. So I'll put a single line comment over here. I'll put a hash. So in this way, I'd be able to place the comments over here. So now nothing is being printed. So this is what the topic about the comments, right? So this is what about the comments. Coming to the next topic over here, I consider the other program. So what is the other program over here? So the typecasting we have done. So comments we have done. So single line comments will be declared with the hash. Multiple line comments will be declared with the quotations over here, right? So coming to the next program, keywords. We have already gone to a program called as keywords, right? So these are the list of keywords. So this is what the code for the printing of keywords. So coming into the next line, operators. So what are the operators? There are the basic operators. So what are the basic operators? Let's look over here. I consider the operators. So what I'm doing here is I come back to my program, I delete all the codes. So now here I've declared a variable called as phi. I've declared a variable called as phi. So I'm storing phi, variable called as a. In that I'm storing a value called as phi. So coming to the next line, I declare a value called as b. In the b, I'm declaring it as 15. So coming to the next line, so what I've done here, I'm going with the operators. So what are the operators? Here I have considered the basic arithmetic operators. So what are the basic arithmetic operators? Let's look over here. C is equal to a plus b, d is equal to a minus b, right? E is equal to a star b, like multiplication and the remainder and the division I'm considering. So in the different variables, I'm storing the different operators. So the sum of two numbers, I'm printing a string along with the variable. I'm printing a string along with the variable. So the sum of two numbers, the difference, I mean this subtraction of two numbers, multiplication, division, remainder, I'm printing right now. So these are what my variables. I come back and I execute it. Python space your file name.py. The sum of two numbers is 20. The difference of two numbers, the multiplication, the division, and what is it, the remainder. So in this way, you'll be getting these particular things, right? So this is when you go with the operators. So in this way, you're having the other operators like arithmetic operators, logic operators, assignment operators, bitwise operators, like and the other thing is memberships. So in this way, there are different operators. In this way, there are the different operators, right? So when you go with this operators, what would be happen? We would be able to work with the operators. So here is a list of the program with the operators. When you go with it, so let me show you that arithmetic operators. Right, so here are the operators program. So what would be happen? Slash slash, double slash, so on. So these are the list of operators. Let me even show you the documents. Right, so here are the list of operators. So we have gone with this basic assignment operators, like the arithmetic operators we have gone right now. These are the arithmetic operators. So the other operators are assignment operators. We are having the same thing. We'll be using the operator, some example syntax, and what would be the output. So these are what about the assignment operators, right? So coming to the next one, here I've considered, right? So assignment operators. After the assignment operators, we do have a comparational operators. After that, we are having a logical operators. So thereafter, we do have the memberships and so on, right? So this is what about your operators. right? So coming to the next topic, let's deal with the control statements. So what are the control statements? How to write the control statements? Let's look. So when you go with the control statements, we are having in the control statements we are having things like if and else. So if, elif, else, and the nested if we are having. So we are having the nested if concept when we go with this. So these are all the things when you go with the conditional statements. Conditional statements are simply to be considered as if condition, if else condition, else if condition, and nested if condition. So now let's see the a program about the if condition. So what am I doing here is simply let us consider a variable. So right now the variable is a is equal to 5. So what I'm doing here, so I'm placing an if condition. If if a is equal to 5, so colon. So there is no need to declare the brackets, there is no need to declare the flower brackets or so on. So I'll be writing my condition over here, condition colon. So till here my condition has been done. So if you want to place a block of statements, if you want to place a block of statements in the block, if you want to place a block of statements in this particular thing, so what we are doing here is I consider indentation. What is the indentation? Four spaces. One, two, three, four. Four spaces are considered as indentation. So let me declare one, two, three, four. I save this program. Print I. So in this way, I'll be declaring for this particular program print high I consider. So four spaces should be given. This is what the concept about the indentation. I save it. So if you want to declare the multiple statements in the if condition, simply give the indentation 1, 2, 3, 4. Print again. What are the statement you want to consider? Write your statements and close it. So in this way, the list of things to be considered. Right now, I'll save this. So if I want to come outside of the if condition, so I need to start writing the program from the left starting of the line. So print I am out of what do I say? I am out of the if condition. So in this way, I'll be considering close it and I save it. Save it. So now this is what the thing. Now come back to the program and execute it. Python space your file name.py. So simply hi Mahesh and these conditions are being printed. So now what would be happen if this condition is satisfied? Then only this block of code would be executed. If not, this block of code would not be executed. Right. So this is what the condition. So coming to the next one, what I want to do here, I want to change the value and check. So instead of 5, if I put it to 8, save this program, come back and re-execute it. So now what would be happen? Only I am out of the if condition that is being printed. Why? Because this condition is not satisfied. If this condition is not satisfied, then this block of statements will not be executed. Will not be executed. So this is what about the if condition. Am I clear with the if condition, everyone? I hope I'm clear with the if condition. Yeah. Right. So that is what about the program. So now coming to the next topic. So So coming to the next topic, what I want to do is see the other programs over here. So here I consider if condition, how the if condition will be executed, how the else condition will be executed, right? So let's see the program. All right. So if the condition is true, then the block of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, then the default statement which you have considered, that statement would be printed. This is when you go with the if condition, right? So coming to the program, in this way we'll be writing a syntax for the if condition. If condition, give the indentation, write the block of codes over here and execute it, right? So now going back to the program of here, I consider the same thing. Let us see for the condition for the if else. So if else, what would be happen is if this condition is not satisfied, then the else block would be executed. So then in that case, else colon, create a block of statements, give 4 spaces, indentation, print I, the value of a. The value of a is not equal to 5. So a value of a is not equal to 5, then this block of statement would be executed. If not, the else block will not be executed. So let's save this program and execute it. So right, so the value of a is not equal to 5. The if condition has been not satisfied. So that is the reason we are not able to print the if condition. Defaultly the else block is being printed. So this is what the concept about the if condition, if and else, right? So in this way we'll be dealing up with the other programs. So what are the other programs over here? So let us consider else also. Like elif will be in the same way. So elif, instead of else, what you'd be doing, you'd be writing the elif l. You'll be writing the elif. So what are the condition you want to place? If a is equal to like what do I say, if a is equal to h, then this block would be executed, right? So if a is equal not equal to 8, then defaultly the else block would be executed. Else I save this, the value of a is not equal to 5 or 8. So this is what the topic. So save this program. So now I execute it. So now what would be happen based upon the value? Based upon the value, the program would be printed. The value of a is not is equal to h. So the value of a is equal to 8. So that is the reason this block is being executed, right? So now the else block is being not executed. So based upon the value, if this condition is satisfied, then it will not check the other conditions. If it is not satisfied, it will move to the next one. All right. So in the next one, what would be happen? If this condition is satisfied, then this block of statements would be executed, right? If this block is not satisfied, then simply it will go to the default else block and that will be printed. So in this way, we'll be going with the value as 25 over here. So the first condition is not satisfied, second condition is not satisfied. So then defaultly the else block would be executed. So in this way, the n number of conditions you want to put, you can consider in the elif block. So save this program and I re-execute it. So now defaultly the else block only would be executed. The value of a is not equal to 5 or equal to 8. The else block is being executed. In this way, we consider this particular thing, right? So now coming to the next topic. So in this way, we'll be dealing with the if condition, else conditions, and so on. So now coming to the next topic. Here, I'm going to stop this topic. Now what I'm doing here is, let us see the modules. So what are the modules? Why Python? How Python? Let's see. So as we have gone with the keyboard module, so we got the keywords, list of keywords. So in this way, we are having the n number of modules. So when we go with this, let's look over here. I'm executing a small program over here. As soon as I execute this program, you can see here, as soon as I execute this program, it says the system name. The system name is so on, the username is so on, the version, when it is released, what is the bit, whether 32-bit or so on, what is the processor, when the system has been turned on. So what is the system details with the multi-core, dual core, what is the frequency, what is the frequency, and the next one when you consider this particular thing, right? So look over here. I'm going to show you over here. Right, so the system frequency, the RAM, right? So all the details of the system are being shown. So in this way, using the Python modules, we will be able to print the details, right? So the RAM, the system disk information, what is the IP address, right? So what is a memory, what is a MAC address, all these details would be printed when you go with the Python. So not only this, we do have the other programs. Let's see, Python space otp.py. So when we execute, so here it says you got an OTP of so on. So if I enter this particular OTP, so 128859. So as soon as I enter this, it says you got transfer OTP. You have entered wrong OTP. So because I've entered wrong, I know. So I re-execute the program. So 136204. So it says you have entered the correct OTP. So in this way, we do have n number of modules. So if you go in depth about the Python, we'd be having all these things, right? So here, let's look some other program. How to send the mails. So Python space OTP py. So as soon as I click over here, as soon as I click otp.py, so what would be happen? I'd be able to get this program. So I'll show you. A mail would be dropped for me automatically. As soon as I execute that particular program, a mail would be dropped for me. Right, you can look over here. It says simply, it says 5335. So if I enter this particular thing 5335, it says correct OTP. You can look over here. It says correct captcha, like what are the program which you have considered, right? So I re-execute the program again. So now I'd be getting a mail again. So look over here. So let's come back and check. Now I'd be getting another mail. Right now I got another mail. So what does say 103 and 802? So if I enter 103, it's 103, right? So 10382. So it says correct NDP. We can send uh, what we can do is we can send the mails. We can even do much more operations. So getting the system details, OTPs, so on are there. There are n number of modules. So if you look into these modules, we would be able to understand this.
So one doubt.
Yes.
How this OTP directly is connected to mail?
There's a logical program behind this. We'll be using the modules. We'd be using the modules over here. We do have a model called as SMPT lib. When you use this SMPT module lib, so automatically what the program is generated over here, that could be sent to the mail. That can be sent to a mail. So if you have gone to the previous program, so here I've showed you a normal program. Right now otp.py. Right now the OTP is being printed here. What are the topic which is printed here? That simply without printing here, I'm mailing to my mail ID. Required mail ID I have given there. For that mail ID, this concept is being mailed. So as soon as I enter the OTP, it says correct OTP or else wrong OTP. So it says you have entered a wrong OTP. In this way, we'd be going with it. Right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now going to the next topic over here, like not only this modules, we do have many other modules. So what are those modules? I'll show you. Space. So let me show you a program. Keylogger. Keylogger. Yeah. So here's a simple program called as Keylogger. So when you go with this Keylogger, what would be happen? You would be able to. So like we have importing a module called as keyboard, SMPT lib, and so on. So these three things, I'm importing this program, like importing the libraries. So as soon as I import this library, what I'm doing over here, I'm creating my function, like this is what the coding. So what this program will do is for every 10 seconds, whatever the user is being typed, let us consider if I have executed this program in one particular system. So what are the key emails typing? Let us consider some www.google.com or facebook.com or some hi. What are the text is typing? All the things. What are the key you're pressing in the keyboard? A single key, whatever you're pressing, all the keys would be stored into one file called as log file. If you look over here, a file would be their log file, right? A file called as log. All this would be generated into a log file for every 10 minutes. Like a file called as log. All the things which have pressed for 10 minutes, for each and every 10 minutes, that file would be sent to so and so mail. That file will be sent to so and so mail. So what would be happen? The people who are going with the hacking kind of things, they use this keylogger program to get the user credentials, whether the user details, what is typing, what is which website is going, what is the username you have entered, what is the message you have entered. All these details would be sent to so and so mail. So in this way, the keylogger would be used for the Python. Not only this, we do have many other modules in the Python. The NumPy module, pandas, matplotlib, cbond, skykit, and so on. N number of modules are there. So all these modules, if we go with it, each and every other work we can perform: data visualization, data pre-processing, all these things we can consider, right? So if you want to know more about these details, we'll let you know, right? So in this way, when you this is what about the Python, right? If you want to know about all these more modules, we are even providing the internships, right? So if you join with the internship, all the other modules which are there, we can explain in detail about that in the internship program. All right. So as of now, if you people have anyone have doubts, you can ask me. Yes, we can send the OTPs to someone else's mail. So based upon the program, we can send it. Based upon the program which you have written, we can even send to someone else's mail ID also. Right now, as of now, I'm done with the session. If the people anyone have are having doubts, you can ask me over here. I'd be replying it. Do anyone are having doubts?
Mahesh sir, I think everyone will clear
Yeah,
without any doubts, I think so.
yeah,
Guys
exactly.
who are watching this on YouTube can stay back for the doubts. We will be sharing you Google Meet link so that you can ask your doubts at the end. Sir, Vijayalakshmi is asking a doubt.
Immutable. It is simply what we can do is we can't change that. One thing which cannot be changed, it is called as immutable. So it would be done like when we are going with the tuples, list set tuples, and it would be there. In that concept, we'd be able to go in depth about this mutable and immutable. Someone are asking how to apply the internship in online. If you want to apply the internship in online, simply go to www.brainovision.in/internships. Then internships will be displayed. So if you go it over here, so the internships which are gonna give over here, so all these internships, the details would be given. You can log into this portal and check. Yeah. So some other dots is this internship is free or for the fee, sir. So you have the details over here. Please log into the portal. All the details should be mentioned over here.
We'll be sending the link again with your certificate also. You can check it out there.
Sir, one doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, in case of tuple, even if you can't able to add by append, but when we use plus operator, it is going to change. Then can we call it as immutable?
So basically, we can call it as an immutable. But what would happen is if we take in depth about that, we can even specify like this plus symbol can't be worked. We can even write a program like this plus symbol which are using the operator that
Okay.
can't also be worked. We can write in that way. There's a logic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Still any other dots? Any one of you?
Yes, sir. I think we can close now.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Uh,
you for your valuable time. It's a wonderful session with you people. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mahesh sir. It
Thank
was
you.
an excellent session. So, guys, you will be receiving your certificates by the end of the day, and we'll provide internship details and the link to register in that mail itself. And you can also register to our upcoming workshops on DART, which is completely free of cost. We will send that link to in the with the certificates itself, so you can check there. And also we can call our faculties who are willing to interact in the session.
Good morning, one and all.
Good morning, ma'am.
I just want to say a vote of thanks, ma'am, on behalf of our MGIT.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good morning, all. I am Mr. Sultana, Assistant Professor, CSE, Coordinator for this workshop, would like to present vote of thanks on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology. I take an opportunity to thank Brainovision Solutions India Private Limited team for your quick cooperation on arranging this session. I am also very much thankful to our management for encouraging us in conducting this workshop. I express my gratitude to our principal, Professor K. Jayashankar Garu, for his support. Thank you very much, sir. I also express my sincere gratitude to our head of the department, Professor C.R.K. Reddy Garu, for his encouragement, guidance, and continuous support, for his extend us for conducting this workshop within short period of time. Thank you very much, sir. I also extend my thanks to my fellow faculty coordinator, Ms. K. Sirisha, Assistant Professor CSC, for her continuous cooperation in organizing this workshop. Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, we are thankful for the participants for your participation with great enthusiasm. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Uh, Ma'am, can I give my vote of thanks on behalf of KL University Vijayawada?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much. Um Good morning, one and all. This is Sri Devi from KL University Vijayawada. Um, it's my privilege to give vote of thanks to all of you on behalf of KL University Vijayawada and on behalf of Department of Computer Engineering. I sincerely give my thanks to Brain Vision team who had giving their valuable information and sharing the valuable information of different technologies to all the students and all the faculty. I would like to thank my management for encouraging us to arrange such wonderful, useful sessions to students as well as faculty. And I would like to thank to the registrar, Dr. Y.V.V.S. Prasad Garu, our principal, Dr. K. Subbarao Garu, Dean of Academics, Dr. N. Venkatram Garu, and our beloved HOD sir, Dr. M. Sivaganga Prasad Garu, for giving us the encouragement to arrange such useful sessions for our students. And finally, I would like to thank our coordinators, Dr. M. Ramesh Kumar Garu, Dr. A. Kiran Kumar Garu, and N. Srinivaslu sir, and all the faculty who are supporting us to arrange such useful sessions. And finally, I would like to thank all the students who had participated in this session. And finally, once again, I'd like to thank the Brino Vision total team along with Mahesh Garu. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. I would
Yes,
like to present a vote of thanks from Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology, ma'am.
yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good morning, one and all. On behalf of Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology, it's my privilege to present vote of thanks. First of all, let me express my sincere gratitude for our beloved chairman, Sir C.H. Venugopal Reddy Garu, who will continuously encourage us, motivate us to conduct such type of workshops. And I would like to extend my thanks to our principal sir, Dr. Rambabu Garu, and our HOD sir, Dr. Madan Mohan Garu, and our academic incharge, Shailaja, and my team, Munshekar and Akhilesh, and all my colleagues of CSC and IT departments. I would like to extend a special thanks to entire Brainovizer team, especially the technical speaker Mahesh sir, who made the entire session more informative and practical oriented, and also the technical team who continuously coordinated with us for their continuous efforts in making this workshop grand success. Finally, I thank all the participants, as no program can become successful with a single person. So I extend my big thank to each and everyone who took a part in this workshop to make it grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Yes, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, madam. I'm Harish Kumar, HOD from CSC Department, St. Mary's Engineering College. I would like to say my sincere thanks to all the persons who are involved in this event. First, I would like to thank Mr. Bala Mahesh Garu, the resource person. Really, he presented all the Python concepts very neat and clear manner. And next, I would like to thank CEO Breno Vision, Dr. Mr. Ganesh Garu, uh, for his continuous support at each and every step. And I would also like to thank our director, secretary, chairman, St. Mary's Group of Institutions, okay, for their continuous support. Am I audible, madam? I think there is some disturbance.
Yes, sir, you please continue, sir.
Yeah, I would like to thank our director, management, St. Mary's Group of Institutions. Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, we would like to thank Kotta Harish Kumar sir from St. Mary's Engineering College, Srinivaslu sir from KL University, Narsimhu sir from Bharat Institute of Engineering and Technology, and Sultana ma'am from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology for your constant support in organizing this workshop. Thank you so much, on and all. Mahesh sir,
Yeah, Mona.
sir, we are sharing Google Meet link in the YouTube chat so that students who are there, if they are having any doubts, they will be coming and they will be asking here, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yes, sir. Guys, I have shared you the Google Meet link in the YouTube chat. So if you have any doubts, please come on to the Google Meet and ask. Yeah, feedback link will be sending to you in the with certificate itself. So please give your valuable feedback in Google too.
Ma'am, block this John Smith. Some person is trying to present.
Sirisha,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, yeah. This is Sirisha from MGIT, ma'am, faculty.
Uh, Mahesh sir, is it audible to you?
Yes, yes, Mona, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. You can continue. Guys, if you're having any doubts, please come to Google Meet and ask. We'll be closing this session in 2 minutes. So if you're having any doubts, you can ask here. Otherwise, we can leave now. Mahesh sir, there was a question in the chat box.
Basically, you if you want to mute the, please everyone mute your mics. Let me answer the questions. So if you have any questions, please drop your comments over here. Please drop your session so query over here. I'd be answering your questions. So what would happen is in a specific location, as soon as you install Python, in the Python you'll be having a folder called as lib. Uh, Mr. Mansur, please. Sorry, I was answering one question. What would be happen is in the Python when you install your library, uh, in the library you would be able. Uh, Sorry, one second.
Sir, how he's able to?
Once if you give the permission, we will be able to access again and again. Right. Sorry, Stavia. In the Python, when you install the default, there will be a folder called as.
Ma'am, can we
Yeah,
have this question answer session afterwards? Like a kind of disturbance is coming.
Mona.
If any kind of feedback link is there, sir, then share it, sir. If it is sent to the mails, okay, the other people can leave, I think.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Other people can leave it. Uh, Other people can leave it. Okay, it's okay. It's not a problem. So if you have any other doubts, we'd be giving you a link over there.
Yeah, thank you, one and all. The session is over. You will be getting the certificates to your registered mail IDs. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Karthik.